All right, all right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a map or game between HawK versus 120. HawK spawning as the blue human player here at the 12 o'clock position of Lost Temple. Yeah, classic Lost Temple going back to 2002. Very rare that I actually see Lost Temple being played in a 1v1 matchup. Apparently, this game taken from a new tournament, new TV, double esports. I have no idea what that means. And if I could actually read the Chinese, well, that's probably some proper noun name, anyways. Coming back off on the other side here, 120 opening things up as the undead in the yellow position. Now, spawning positions here, this is going to be relatively close to the Human Expo. And well, that Human Expo, I know in years past, human players often tried and take this expo early on, being able to attack from the high ground, minimizing the damage from these forest troll berserkers, and then clearing out this creep camp. However, undead with easy access and a lich first, all right, not something you see very often. A lich first in this human versus undead matchup on Lost Temple. I honestly I cannot say if I remember ever casting Archmage versus Lich on Lost Temple in a 1v1 match. It's been that long seeing Lost Temple in a 1v1 in a 1v1 that yeah, Lich first is probably something that's come about as of late. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this game going here. Lich gonna make its way down off to the south. We'll see if he holds on to that scroll of town portal or picks up some sacrificial skulls for blight and perhaps an expo of his own. Oh, there goes a sacrificial blight, rod of necromancy. We do have 6 acolytes, so it may be a double expo game style play here. Lich now making its way down, perhaps gonna try and get some damage. There goes that ogre warrior. Where's that blight being placed down? It would offer a bit of regeneration, and now summoning of those ziggurats as well. Now, Lich having access to also that dark ritual should be able to get off a number of frost novas, as well as we're seeing these skeletal warriors just come literally out of the ground and ready to do some engaging. Lost Temple 1v1 viable in your opinion, or Imba? So I don't know. I I'm curious to see, because a lot of the times it is the meta that determines whether or not something is viable or not. Here, Archmage going up against the Lich here, both sides fighting their way through. Ghouls coming in from the other side. There's a Frost Nova, and HawK suddenly having to deal with a Frost Nova Lich this early in the game, perhaps simply not expecting it. Lich can easily turn back around, get a Frost Nova off onto some of these units as well, and perhaps start shutting things down. Tome of Intelligence left behind here, and are we going to see, yeah, Archmage easily picks that up and now makes his way back off to the north here. Lich, Dark Ritual. Are we going to see some Frost Novas? Ghouls are trying to swarm perhaps back around as this expo is getting up and operational as well. Lich, no boots of speed, hasn't visited the shop yet, as we're looking at Militia now making their way over. Ghouls want to try and target down these peasants here, and it looks like we may have a potential engagement as the Water Elemental down to 170 hit points. It could easily get cleaned up. Lich now going to be making its way back over. There's some skeletal minions popping up out of the ground, and that Lich with a nice AoE Frost Nova trying to maximize its damage as the expo is currently up and operational. Water Elemental gonna turn into a puddle due to timed life, as the Archmage now trying to finish off ghouls. One ghoul down, a second ghoul could get taken down as well. There's a second ghoul. Frost Nova onto the Archmage. Archmage now down to 95 hit points as he's trying to retreat all the way back down to 73. Lich has Ring of Protection +4 going up against Claws of Attack +4. It looks as though that Lich is going to be benefiting a little bit more as it's able to stay alive. Archmage unable to stick around in these battles as a low hit point ghoul hides off to the side as well. Meanwhile, Nerubian Tower is already up. Low hit point, or this footman here trying to catch up to this Acolyte. Acolyte, however, if you remember, do regenerate very quickly. While on Blight, this one footman ends up getting taken down by that Nerubian tower. Archmage trying to finish off a ghoul here down to the south will be able to do exactly that. Meanwhile, low hit point ghoul off to the side, able to escape as HawK is still mining away pretty freely as the Archmage is now halfway to level 3. All right, Lich standing next to the Fountain of Health, gonna just try to wander around here, gonna, well, make its way back down to the south. No Cloak of Shadows to be able to heal. Meanwhile, ghouls are now perhaps gonna try and swarm and take out this Expo again. This Lich is just kind of caught in between the middle here, wants to heal at this Fountain of Health, but hasn't been able to do so with that Archmage constantly just causing a bit of disruption. Meanwhile, it looks as though a Nerubian tower finally being placed down by 120 at his at his main base. As water elementals still causing a bit of a splash off over here. Ghouls, meanwhile, trying to swarm in position. Scout towers trying to get placed down, as well as the ghouls are trying to take out all of these peasants again. A lot of action across both sides as the Lich now making his way across as well. If the Lich can get up to level 3, suddenly level 2 Frost Novas are really going to make short work out of these low hit point militias. How much damage, or has there been any kills as of yet? That is now the big question, as Frost Nova goes down onto the Archmage again. Archmage trying to retreat back once more, trying to get back up onto the high ground. Some low hit point peasants here. Arcane Tower nearly done. Peasant maybe, a couple of peasants and other units may end up getting taken down, as the Lich is still trying to do a little bit of a dance back and forth. Not enough mana, and well, not enough mana to try and land down another Frost Nova, and really needs to get level 3 if he really wants something big to happen here. Footman now going after this low hit point ghoul. A lot more invested into low hit point or tier 1 units than I initially expected, as the Lich does have mana and just needs a bit more experience to get to level 3. All right, low hit point units continuing to stay back and, well, keep their distance once more, as both sides do have their expos up and operational now. All right, ghouls back on Blight here. Necropolis halfway done. A second crypt now being placed down alongside of that graveyard. HawK has started teching to tier 2 as well. So we should be looking at obsidian statues and some perhaps potential priest, as HawK getting the reinforged or the iron sword upgrades for those footmen and perhaps some spellbreakers. Lich is now at level 3, and that is a dangerous spot to be, where when HawK has already invested so much into, well, mass peasants and also all of these footmen. Footman gonna end up getting cleared up here in just a second. A little bit more dark rituals for those heals, as the Lich tries to catch some of these units out in the open field position. Archmage sitting at level 2 should be able to get to, well, no, not gonna get to level 3 off of this Null Poacher, I believe. Should be just a bit shy. Nope, right on the money. So yeah, right on the money there. And now dropping down level 2, another level 2 water elemental. There's a big Frost Nova. Stopping that water elemental in its tracks. Another dark ritual there, trying to deny mana any way it can, as the Lich now looks to retreat back. All right, low hit point skeletal minion. Level 3 already reached by that Archmage, as we are teching to tier 3 and training up a Mountain King, getting up a second barracks, and I'm waiting to see if we're going to get any flying machines. It looks like we're going to go straight into Knights without flying machines right now, as, well, HawK knows that there is going to be a delay on those destroyers. Delay on the destroyers means, well, don't need flying machines to try and handle those units, as the Crypt Fiend now looking to back up. Death Knight should be followed up as well here in just a moment, as the tech to tier 2 is done. Where is that Death Knight? Needing another 15 seconds. As the slaughterhouse is under construction, tech to tier 3 has started. Both sides running off of 2 bases here, as the Archmage looking to clear out this Ogre Mauler creep camp in the center. Mountain King wants to gain lots of experience here. Archmage, well, sticking around, taking away some of that precious experience from that Mountain King. But, well, Archmage also wants to get to level 4 too. coming back around, and Death Knight out here on the battlefield should perhaps just get some death coils off on that Lich. He's been absorbing a bit too much damage, as a Mana Stone now on that Lich, gonna give even more mana on that Lich with that 25% bonus, and also can be consumed for 200 mana here. More death coils going onto that Lich. That Lich actually having the highest armor, 7 armor right there, coupled with death coil. That Lich acting as a bit of a tank, at least against those creeps. Lich now with that faster movement speed because of that boots of speed could perhaps try and find a couple of easy kills here. Are we going to see a Frost Nova? Yeah, Frost Nova, well, finishes off one low hit point Footman. There goes a Stormbolt onto the Lich. Lich could have a little bit of problems. There's a Death Coil here, and now we're going to see perhaps a low hit point Footman getting taken down. Level 2 now on that Death Knight. Unholy Aura going to get added in. More Footman getting taken down, and the sudden appearance of the Death Knight here is, well, causing a bit of problems. Mountain King could try and get a Stormbolt off, but doesn't have enough to finish it off right there. There goes a Stormbolt onto the Lich. Lich could be in trouble. Lich, is he going to try and transfer? Yes, transfers the potion of that Mana Stone to the Lich. Lich ends up getting a Death Coil to try and stick around in this fight a little while longer, as the Water Elemental could now end up getting taken down. One more shot right there does finish the job. 120 in a great spot here. Archmage trying to punish the Obsidian statue. Lich gets up to level 4. Are we going to see a Stormbolt or anything like that? Mountain King now in some serious trouble, absorbing quite a bit of damage. Stormbolt onto the Death Knight, but, well, not before the Mountain King gets taken down. Archmage trying to keep its distance, and 120 playing a beautiful game here. Water Elemental is going to try to go after these Obsidian statues, as the Obsidian statues does a little bit of a dance back and forth. Knights now out here on the battlefield. Sundering Blades going to be causing quite a bit of damage bonus across all of these units, as Death Coils are still flying freely, but the Death Knight is still relatively low on mana. Mountain King back out on the battlefield already. Paladin out here on the battlefield. Mountain King going to get resurrected in just a second, as those units are retreating back. All right, Dreadlord as that third and final hero coming in from the undead, as ghouls are coming in to join in on the fight as well. A battle at the Fountain of Health. Who's going to be able to reach their targets, as the Fountain of Health definitely benefits the higher hit point knights rather than all of these Crypt Fiends. However, once the Obsidian statues get that Destroyer form upgrade, all bets are off, as you better believe these Destroyers are going to be trying to go after these knights to handle them. Crypt Fiend, Stormbolt, Stormbolt, Holy Light followed by Dark Ritual. Every single spell pretty much able to be attacked there, as the knight is down to 44 hit points, and that is that Fountain of Health regeneration working right there, but still not enough, as ghouls run in deep behind enemy lines there. There goes another Crypt Fiend once more. 67 supply compared to 77. HawK having a slight supply advantage, but, well, knights are falling, and now level 3 on that Death Knight, finding a Frost Nova on that Mountain King. Mountain King has a large amount of armor, but even with that large amount of armor, dual Rings of Protection +4, unable to stay alive. Yes, Orb of Corruption did remove some of that bonus armor, but I believe the Mountain King could have survived a bit if that Paladin was nearby and able to place down that Holy Light. Back off to the north here, Siege Engines now rolling on in, trying to take down the Tomb of Relics and, well, cause a bit more problems. Obsidian statue production will end up being halted for a little bit here, as, well, as the Paladin now looks to retreat back out once again. All right, Siege Engine trying to take down this Black Citadel, but easy damage coming back across here, as now the ghouls are swarming into HawK space. All right, trying to attack where your opponent is not, and that is what's going on. All of these poor peasants taking quite a bit of damage. Archmage bringing over the Knight's Stormbolt onto a low hit point ghoul. Gonna catch that one, as they are all trying to retreat and get back home. Mountain King looking to get a little bit more mana. Perhaps one more Stormbolt could be enough. No, decides to give up the chase, as the ghouls with their frenzy perhaps outpacing that Mountain King without boots of speed. Down to the south, Dreadlord, Carrion Swarm with Sleep. Death Knight now with Endurance Aura as well. Faster movement speed on that Death Knight and this entire undead army. 68 supply compared to 71. As we're looking at Siege Engines rolling on into, well, put pressure on to these Nerubian towers. 2 siege engines coupled with 1 knight here to try and take down these units. A ghoul is now trying to swarm their way over, but the acolyte could easily take far too much damage as we're looking at, well, those sundering blades. All right, siege engines continue to roll on in. Knight's going to finish off some of these acolytes here. 1 siege engine about to get taken down. Another acolyte is about to fall here as well, as we are looking at a bit of repairs. Knight could perhaps try to go after some of those crypt fiends, but instead going to get taken down as the undead, or as the human army now makes its way to the bottom left, perhaps to clear out some items, and another gift being left behind for HawK. 120 has left behind a tome of intelligence, a tome of agility, I believe, and a wand of wind for HawK here. If this game does go HawK's way, I gotta believe those items did make a bit of a difference overall. All right, level 5 now on that Lich, nearly level 4 on that Death Knight. Dreadlord nearly level 3 as well. We could have a double level up on the undead heroes in just a moment. You better believe it, with what the Frost Nova's easy access to Frost Nova on these low hit point peasants. All right, little bit of damage. Guard towers trying to poke apart the Crypt Fiend with decent armor, and, well, that heroic armor able to absorb some of that damage. All right, coming back through. All right, we're going to see some level 4 on the Death Knight. Level 3 now on the Dreadlord. Carry-on Swarm. There's that Wand of the Wind as damage is racking up here. Lich down to 135 hit points. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability used in time, but the Death Knight is still up in the air, unable to land a Death Coil to save that Lich. All right, Death Coil should be coming down onto that Lich as we see level 3 now onto that Mountain King. All right, more damage still racking up here. There's a Thunderclap there. Death Knight now trying to retreat back as well as we see some Holy Lights here. All right, Death Coil onto the Dreadlord. Dreadlord, however, with that Orb of Fire debuff, having a hard time trying to stay alive. There's a Holy Light. There's a Carry-On Swarm, and the Dreadlord gets enough to stay alive. All right, there was a last-second fireball, but still not enough here as the Dreadlord now trying to make its way back off to the north here. Perhaps another Carry-On Swarm to finish off, or more Death Coil, Holy Light exchanges. 200 hit point heals compared to 200 hit point damage burst, going back and forth. Another Carry-On Swarm, and there goes another Knight there. All right, Lich sitting at 5-4-3 for the undead side. Meanwhile, 4-3-2 for HawK as the units are retreating back. All right, Ninja expansion by HawK on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Will that expansion be able to start paying for itself? That is the big question, as night after night seemingly falls. And, well, Staff of Sanctuary trying to actually deny some of that experience finally here, as the Death Knight sits just shy of a Death Coil. Spellbreaker is able to, well, constantly remove some of that precious mana as the Lich now tries to retreat back again. Lich, are we going to see some Frost Novas go down? Holy Light onto the Mountain King again. Both sides still exchanging blows as the Crypt Fiends, well, use their superior range here, as the Paladin now being forced to retreat back at 213 hit points. Death Knight unable to deal that killing blow again as the Water Elementals and remaining units now trying to retreat back. Dreadlord sitting at level 3. We have two Obsidian statues and Abomination. Abomination could try and tank some of that damage here, as this Expo may end up falling. HawK's Ninja expansion will help out tremendously, but it may not be able to give an edge, as we see a big Carry-On Swarm just lead to the death and destruction of a large number of peasants. That Disease Cloud, well, that peasant perhaps getting it just a little bit later than everyone else, saved him from that Carry-On Swarm. Dreadlord trying to, well, retreat back again here. Both sides could fight back. HawK has a decent-sized army. 50 supply army here could lead the charge with Knights, as there are no more Knights at the castle from that Staff of Sanctuary. 2 Staff of Sanctuaries here. Those Knights, if they absorb some Carry-On Swarm, Staff of Sanctuary should try and save it. There goes a Thunderclap, and it's still absorbing a little bit of damage. You cannot let those Knights fall. It's just going to continue to give more and more to the Death Knight in terms of experience, as the Obsidian statue is now trying to retreat back here, and it looked like all of the undead units were able to be retreated and saved. Meanwhile, down to the south side here, siege engines rolling on into the undead expansion, trying to take down these Nerubian towers. Has not been successful as of late. Meanwhile, undead now rolling on out as well. Obsidian statues getting some of that natural regeneration, and with plenty of other obsidian statues of destroyers are now up in the air as well. Death Coil should be going down onto that destroyer, coupled with some perhaps some absorbed mana. 77 supply compared to 66. Human now kind of getting caught in the corner here. Where is the Mountain King here and the Archmage? Archmage does have a Scroll of Town Portal, which is incredibly important. He needs to try and retreat back out. Lich is going to land a Frost Nova. No, not landing the Frost Nova, but allowing everything to get cleared up here. All right, Skeletal Minion is going to get cleared up. Tome of Intelligence, Scroll of Town Portal to retreat back out. 5-4-3. Dreadlord nearing level 4 picks up a Circlet of Nobility for a bit of better stats. Death Knight now on the move as well. Well, looking to get to level 5 for that level 3 Death Coil. Mountain King had gone for a level 2 Thunderclap, able to slow things down quite a bit, but not going to be able to push or burst down any unit with that Stormbolt. Here we are, here we go into an engagement. Both sides fighting their way through. Big Frost Nova across here. Stormbolt onto the Lich. Carrion Swarm ripping through as the Knights are trying to finish things off. There goes a Thunderclap there as, well, Crypt Fiends could end up getting taken down. There goes one Crypt Fiend. Obsidian Statue could fall as well. Staff of Sanctuary. Holy Light still being used. Finally, Staff of Sanctuary used there as we are looking at some more, well, fleeing units. Death Knight could be in trouble. Death Knight gets taken down. Crypt Fiend getting taken down as well as both sides are exchanging blows. Dreadlord gets up to level 4 as Destroyers are now going after the Knights as well. Flying Machines not enough to really burst down those Destroyers who have 3-1 upgrades. I think they have 3-1 upgrades. Yeah, 3-1 upgrades. It doesn't look like it, but they do have 3-1 upgrades. Overlay not showing it for some reason. All right, more Staff of Sanctuary. Dreadlord falls at level 4. HawK continuing to push back the other way. Mountain King not enough for a Stormbolt, but does take down an Obsidian Statue. Another Frost Nova onto the Paladin. Paladin down to 157. Mountain King trying to lead the charge here. And HawK able to completely turn things around. Now taking the supply lead. That hidden expansion in the bottom left making a big difference there as the Lich now gets a big Frost Nova onto that Paladin, only to realize that, wait, he had an Ankh of Reincarnation and will get resurrected. All right, solo Lich now trying to push back this attack. Where is the undead army? Nowhere to be seen. Flying Machines are overhead. 39 supply army compared to 62. As, well, the undead army here still able to stay alive. Paladin with Holy Light able to just constantly Holy Light those Knights there. 22 supply compared, or excuse me, 79 supply compared to 53. Big shift overall as we are looking at a level up. Death Knight falls at level 4. Archmage gets up to level 5. And, well, Hero Mountain King gets up to level 4 as well. Both sides still fighting their way through as we're looking at some of these Crypt Fiends getting, well, perhaps taken down as well. Crypt Fiend down to 96 hit points. Going to try and retreat back. Acolytes trying to retreat. Knights could still lead the charge here. 72 supply compared to 44. Dreadlord perhaps going to try and make a bit of a play, but the army size is just not enough. Dreadlord is out here, perhaps going to land a couple of carrion swarms to try and deal with these flying machines and then allow those destroyers to take to the skies again. All right, Ghoul still harvesting up a bit of lumber. Flying Machines retreating back. Paladin, Mountain King, Archmage has taken, well, has tried to even up a bit of that hero level advantage, but the Lich still does have level 3 Dark Ritual. Level 3 Dark Ritual pretty much means that any Crypt Fiend kill or any Crypt Fiend Dark Ritual will give that Lich more than enough mana to just continue to, well, blast out again and again. All right, are we going to see some Frost Novas there? Yeah, Frost Nova onto that front line spot. There's a Carrion Swarm as well. Flying Machines are overhead and not really doing much. Death Knight now being forced to try and retreat back. There goes a big Thunderclap again. Lich trying to finish off some of these Knights, but Staff of Sanctuary keeping those Knights alive as the Lich, well, unable to finish off those Knights here. Turning back around, continuing to fire back and forth. Are we going to see the death of a Knight? Yes, we do. Death Knight still not at level 5 here. Carrion Swarm. Dreadlord could have a little bit of troubles. Not enough mana. Dreadlord getting the Scroll of Town Portal instead, as the Undead not throwing in the towel just quite yet. All right, still low hit point Knights out here onto the battlefield. Staff of Sanctuary continually bringing them back home. And HawK walks away with the victory. HawK, who seemingly was behind for a very long time. That ninja expansion in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, not assessed and never scouted out by 120. Because of that, well, 120 made miscalculations in determining how strong HawK's army could be and how quick HawK could rebound when his units were taken out. Because of that ill-timed decision, it felt like HawK was just able to continually claw his way back into the game, and eventually, after the Death Knight and Dreadlord were taken out, even though the Lich reached level 6, still didn't have enough. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.